So people love to talk about core training for sports performance and even low back pain, recovery, or prevention. It's a big buzzword in fitness, and it has been for a long time. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people misunderstand what we're really talking about when we talk about core training. So to back up for a second, let's just make sure, as far as golf or other sports performance goes, what the core helps us do. Okay? And the basic idea is that in most sports, we're going to get energy by leveraging the ground and the hips rotating, which will slingshot the torso and then the arms. A loss of stability in this region, okay, with these types of movements, will obviously impair energy transfer from the ground up, and also has a chance to increase compressive forces on areas like the lumbar spine, the low back that hurts so many people in the United States. One of the main misconceptions is that strengthening directly these types of muscles is exactly what's needed for everybody. And I don't particularly agree with that. And the reason I don't agree with that is because that overlooks the issue of timing and sequence. These muscles in here will never be stronger than these muscles here. Okay? So if they're going to do their jobs correctly of stabilizing the spine to help transfer all this force, they sure need to turn on first. I think that's the key piece that a lot of people miss. So well-intentioned exercises such as a plank end up actually reinforcing an improper pattern because a lot of people use their quads and their hip flexors in order to complete that exercise. The quads and the hip flexors are movers. Okay? They're not stabilizers that are designed to be this transfer case, or they're not designed to hold the lumbar spine in the correct position throughout a lot of movements. Likewise, there's a lot of other exercises out there that will put variations on something like a plank, where people will go down and they'll plank, and then they'll lift an arm or they'll lift a leg. And again, those are very well intentioned, but the issue is that we're substituting a mover, the low back or the deltoid or the upper trapezius, for what should be a stabilizer like the serratus or parts of the deeper core muscles. So the first piece to really getting core training is all about how do I pressurize the abdomen to turn on these deep muscles reflexively. Okay? That's the key piece. That's how you did it as a baby. That's how you learn to walk. That's how we want to learn to train. Okay? Another forgotten piece of core training is from the collarbone on up. That's the neck. This is the parachute of the core. This is still part of your spine. It still must be stable in order to transfer that energy from the ground up in sports. I'm going to show you a couple of very simple exercises to help us learn to pressurize here, stabilize here, and feed forward or stimulate all those core muscles that we're trying to use with planks and push-ups and so on and so forth. Those should be operating subconsciously, and the key piece of neck stability and diaphragmatic breath is what really drives that, what we call reflex stabilization or subconscious stabilization. That is really the foundation to any good core training. Really simple. This could be a 2-pound weight or a bag of flour at home. Let me go down onto my back. And I use this little weight just to check to see where my breathing is coming from. Okay? Is my breathing coming from the belly and the abdomen, pushing out in every direction and up to the ceiling? Or is my breath coming from the upper chest and neck? You can see as I inhale and exhale, this weight doesn't move. Ideally, we would be pressurizing the abdomen and stimulating those core muscles with the deep abdominal breathing. Very simple to set up. Okay? I just put my knees in the air a little bit like this. Go ahead and breathe in. And drive this weight up to the ceiling and my abdomen out to the sides. On the exhale, it would be terrific if I could hold this kind of like a brace, as Stuart McGill advocates. But in no case should I be inhaling without this moving up. You'll see chest and neck breathing doesn't move this weight when I breathe in. The next piece of the puzzle now is to set my chin. And you can see there's quite a bit of space here and my chin is pointed up to the ceiling. What I want to do is breathe in, and now make a double chin to set my neck. This alone will be an exercise for quite a few people. If I want to make it a little bit harder, I just go ahead and grab a little ball. Doesn't have to have much weight. Squeeze this. Set my neck. Like that. The exercise will be done incorrectly if this drops, if the weight drops, or if I start to lose my neck position as the ball goes up and down. That set of exercises is a terrific way to stimulate the subconscious or reflexive stabilizing mechanism of the spine. That is the true purpose of the core, to do this subconsciously. It's also a terrific warm-up for an exercise like a deadlift or a squat, where we want to take energy transferred from the ground through the hips and even into the upper body. These types of exercises, or the technique of pressurizing the abdomen and setting the neck, applies to sports like golf as well. And the reason is simple. If I set up here, okay, and my neck is disjointed and there's no pressure in the abdomen here, I'm much more likely to move my lumbar spine at the expense of the thoracic spine or the shoulders. And we know what we really want is true efficient rotation. So the lumbar spine doesn't rotate particularly well. It's not designed to do that. The vertebrae do not rotate on each other particularly well. So we're really looking for stability at the lumbar spine, setting my breath and neck, and that will allow that thoracic spine and shoulder and hip to rotate correctly around this stable segment. This is the work for putting, the full swing, and chip shots. It's also a terrific way to reset yourself under pressure. Take a few nice deep breaths, set your neck, focus on your breathing, and some of those pressure putts will feel a lot easier.